Alright, so this is the T-Bird project. Let's see, this was summer of 2023. It's like June 6, 2024. I'm finally like getting around to editing. Well, I've had this video made up, but anyway, we're gonna do this voiceover thing because so that way it has a storyline. So anyway, this is like right when I was moving into my house, and that's why I said the project for the new garage there. So anyway, this thing sat for a long time in the garage, like as I was moving in and painting rooms and fixing spots in the drywall and whatnot. Anyway, this guy ran the car out of oil. You can see right there, there's a nice little hole in the side of the engine block. It's real good. There's the crew cab. Back, I redid the pillars there. I didn't like those. Well, anyway, yeah, I added that in just because. So finally, he got this new engine. What was that? I don't even remember. It wasn't a Windsor. What's the other one? An FE? Something FE. Ford FE engine. I don't even remember now. But it's the same as what came out of there. Minus that hole, of course. So anyway, yeah, it looks like I put a lot more lights in my garage since that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my dad came over and helped me one of these days. This is before I like started videoing a lot, so this is just all pictures. There's that pretty new engine. Well, new to the car at least. It came out of a Merc, I'm pretty sure, and it had the. God, this has been last year. I can't even remember now. The what's the transmission? The 3-speed Cruise-O-Matic. So they both were Cruise-O-Matics, but the one out of the Merc was different. So we ended up going and getting that transmission. This is what the inside of the pan looked like. So far, so good. I mean, like it. This is the one that came out of the car. Maybe that pan with all the goop in it was the one out of this car. Anyway, reverse band was broke on that Cruise-O-Matic out of the car. It didn't have reverse, so it tore apart. I probably could have put it back together. Those bands are kind of hard to find. Anyway, we just bought the other one and threw it in there. It looked pretty gross on the inside of the pan, but put new Type F fluid in it. It worked just fine. Yeah, that thing was crusty. I took those cylinder heads off in the intake thinking they'd be worth something. I think I managed to get that carburetor sold. Somebody actually bought that for $40 and turned around. Thought they were going to like rebuild it and make some money. So maybe he did. Hopefully he did. I don't know. But so there's that thing in the car finally. Yeah, that engine ran pretty good. It was pretty torquey. I remember running it with open manifolds for a while, hoping it would sound like my Camaro, my cammed out Camaro with open headers, and stock V8 with open manifolds did not sound quite as cool. So here's the brake thing. After I got done with the engine, transmission, and drive shaft yoke conversion, he had it for a while, and then he's like, wow, these drum brakes really suck balls. So he bought this disc brake conversion, and it was for Galaxy and other full-size Ford cars, which I would have thought that would have been the T-Bird. Anyway, I had to weld onto the spindles there. That's what I was doing here, was like tracking, make sure the caliper is straight on the rotors. So that's what the steel rule there was for a second. Anyway, so I had to like shim that and weld it and grind on it in a few spots, and that was the easy part, getting the rotors put on this right here, you know, getting that done. That was the easy part. But yeah, the reason I was like being facetious about the full-size Ford and other cars and whatever is because this bracket here did not even come close to fitting the firewall. It was hitting, you can kind of see the diaphragms hitting that box there, the heater box or whatever that is. So I had to make this bracket with a bunch of monkey motion in it, and at the end of this I did weld all those seams and paint it and grind it smooth and paint it. Anyway, this is like first draft. Looks like a super high quality recording back before I had a tripod. Nice. All right, so you can probably tell it is way hot up in here. Anyway, we got this thing put together, roughly put together. I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera. So the idea here is, I'll take this over to the car and show you. So anyway, I had to make this whole linkage and bracket mount because the issues we ran into here was when we first got this thing, it was a kit for Galaxy and other full-size Ford car. So obviously, I would think that the T-Bird is a full-size Ford car. But anyway, this bracket did not fit. Well, it fit the bolt pattern, but it did not fit the master cylinder, the diaphragm. Anyway, it was hitting down here on the shift linkage, so that was a problem, and it was also hitting this heater box. So what I did was I moved it forward, obviously 3-4 inches there, and then raised it up as well, so it's way up here now. And so that's what all this monkey motion lever on the inside is. Originally, I was using this hole, and the brake rod comes right there, and it was pivoting on that, and it was pushing this only about 1/2 inch, which worked. It was nice and easy to push, but it was not enough travel to get this rod out of the front here into this. I've already got fluid in it. I'm at the point now where the system is sealed up. I just need to figure out how to get it to work, and I was really hoping it was going to work the way it was before. So anyway, now I've made this lever down here. It's going to pivot right there, be pushed right there, and then it should have plenty of travel to push the rod in the diaphragm. So anyway, what I'm waiting on now is getting a Heim joint, so that way I do not have to make another one of these, because that is a pain in the butt. It takes forever, and it'd be easier to just use this one if at all possible. It's threaded all the way up to there, as you can see. So if I have to, I will just cut some of the threads off the end here to shorten it, and use a Heim joint, but we shall see. I would rather use a Heim joint than one of these. This thing, the way it's made up inside the car, that's just not the best way to do it anyway. I'll see if a Heim joint works better. If not, we'll figure something else out. But that's where we're at right now with this project, and obviously it's all pieced together. Once I get this to where I like it, I will take it all back apart and weld it into one big piece and then paint it so it looks nice. Let's show you what I did under here. I did these brake lines. Obviously they had to be bent. Tried to keep them reasonably uniform, but I had to tweak them a couple different times, so they're not as perfect as they once were. But those two go to the front. This one here goes to that side of the car, and this one goes to right under me here. And then there's one back here and this nice little knob to adjust the amount of flow that goes to your rear brakes. So here's this line, and it goes down along this piece of metal I made. Yes, that is a piece of a bed frame. Who cares? It works. It was free. But it is welded down there to a bracket that I made. I wanted this to be sturdy. Since I put the extension on the firewall, I knew that when you apply brakes very hard, it would lift the master cylinder up. So I welded this to the front, made that bracket that bolts to the front, and of course I got a notch cut out there for the power steering. And it is welded, a small bracket right there. I got some 1/4-20 bolts that go in there, wedged in here right now. But anyway, yes, that goes there. This 8L clamp goes onto one of the 1/4-20 bolts, and I tried to keep this brake line nice and neat. It is hanging right now. I'm gonna have to zoom out. It is hanging right now because I'm not sure where this piece is. There was a cover that went right there, and of course because I had these 8L clamps down there loose to mess with that leak that I was talking about earlier. But I had to get this linkage loose right there. I had to make some linkage for this transmission as well because it was different when I put that in. The original transmission had longer levers. So anyway, I got fancy and I cut these rods and welded them and made them a different length, and then found out that that did not work. So then I just had to make linkage anyway. I had to change the output shaft or not the output shaft, the yoke on the drive shaft to get it to fit this transmission. I got the other one sitting over there. It is in a bajillion pieces because I took it apart and thought I was going to be able to fix it with the reverse band, which it looks like it's easy enough, but he wanted to use this one. I don't blame him. It was brown and full of glitter when we got it, but it does work. So I've drove this car myself. It does work. It doesn't slip. It's got nice red fluid in it now, so. All right, so the T-Bird's at a standstill for today. It is Sunday, July 30th, 2023, and it's at a standstill because of that Heim joint. I'll go get one first thing in the morning, or night shift Monday through Fridays, which sucks, but it is what it is. So I got a full-time job just like everybody else for the most part. So that's going to slow me down with making these videos. But for now, we're going to find something to do on this truck. All right, so it's a new day. We're back. We got the Heim joint, rod end, whatever you want to call it. We're set up. We're going mowing tomorrow. Let's see what we can get done on this T-Bird today. So I threw this thing back on. It's only got one bolt back here in the firewall, or these are studs. I put one nut on it there, and then these two, so that way there is no slop in this piston that comes out of there, because that's my main concern really. All this is not sloppy, but still the issue I've ran into is, well, let's see, now that we're looking at this, it looks like it was traveling that far to the where it's pushing in, which I thought would be enough. I think that's where I thought it was gonna have to be. Well, apparently not. So everybody knows that when you press the brakes, it kind of squirts out a little bit. So obviously we have enough in here, enough fluid. It's about halfway full. That's enough to at least see what we're going for here. I'll show you what I got back here. The pedal is just about even with the gas pedal, and every brake pedal I've ever seen before comes out further than that. So basically I need to adjust this rod. But this is all jammed up here. Oh man, this old T-Bird's kind of difficult to work on, not gonna lie. Got some pain in the ass designs. So anyway, this feels like a brake pedal at least. But you can see it's not squirting out of the top. And it's not tight, that's why it's flexing. Anyway, yeah, I mean, also some other things we got going on this car. It's literally got a two-piece brake pedal, which is the most annoying part about getting under here, because this was a connection point for a diaphragm. I had like a big diaphragm under here. Like, it looked like one of those things you pump up a fire with to get it burning real good. And the other end of it mounted in this hole on the firewall. And then the hole up there where my rod comes through is obviously where the other rod came through, but the master cylinder sat right there, and then this was the vacuum boost, this lower one. But anyway, this bolt is real hard to get in and out. Not sure why the heck they designed it this way. Anyway, the only reason I'm still using that is because this is like a 5/16 size hole, and this one is much bigger. It is like, that's more than 3/8, so. But this is just a specially designed bolt, you can see. So I'll figure something else out. I should probably just cut it down or make a new one or something else, because this is very difficult to get in and out. I'm gonna have to put the camera down. I got it in there just fine. Oh man. Gotta pry it apart to get it apart. All right, so anyway, this will make it real clear what I'm talking about here. So you can press the brake, and then that one swings forward. So Just a real odd design there. A person would think that if they're going to move in the same direction when they're joined right there, why they couldn't have just made one piece pedal, but you know, that would have been too easy. So, but it does make getting this apart a little easier, because this, that one goes that way, and well, now that it doesn't have anything to pivot off of because I took that rod out, they stay together. But basically this rod, I'll show you here in a second. I'll pull all this apart, and it needs to be in between the length that I had it before and the length that it is now. So we're gonna figure something else out. So it would have been right about that long before, and now it's this long. So we're gonna need a length right in this area, and hopefully that'll work. So we're gonna just twist this back a little bit. See what we get here. All right, so I lengthened this rod, adjusted it on both sides. I'm gonna put it back in here now, see if I can get this situated. I bought a tripod. I can't wait till that thing comes in. I'm gonna knock this phone off and it's gonna like disappear into under the hood oblivion. But luckily this thing goes in reasonably easy now that I've got it all into the shape I want it to be.
Just stick this one nut on the firewall to hold it flush. we successfully have brakes.
All right, so I found this is a little more tricky than I thought it was going to be. So when I extended that rod, I wasn't able to get it on the pedal on the inside because the pedal would not go far enough back. It was hitting the steering column or whatever's in the way up there. So what I did was I took this loose again, pulled this out, and then put the rod on the pedal, and then used the pedal to pull this back into the firewall, and then put that nut back on there. And so it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to put together and take apart. I really don't care. I mean, that's kind of how these projects go. So I got this brake booster put on at this point. I had fluid squirt out of the reservoir, so now I know the pedal is getting enough travel. So now I just am waiting on somebody to get over here and help me bleed these things later. And I'd say, honestly, it'd be pretty well good to go. Other than that, once the system is sealed and where I want it to be, and I know the brakes work, then I'm going to take everything that's not sealed back apart and paint it. So basically, this bracket here that I made for the metering valve, and then also this whole assembly, I got to weld it up, all these gaps and how it's hodgepodge together. Weld it so that way it looks like something that is not hodgepodge together, and spray paint everything, and then it's complete. I reconnected the battery. I had it disconnected from where I welded that bracket on the car. Also, it's been sitting so long, it's just a good practice to do regardless. I want to start this car and see if my fuel line is gonna leak. Also, I want to start it just because I want to start it. So we're gonna go ahead and choke it. Where's the choke? I have all this taken apart. And you know, it's been sitting so long. I guess it's all the way out. Been sitting so long without running, and also it had an open fuel line. Turn signals on. Not sure if that's going to do anything at all. We're going to squirt some gas in her. You guys want some Gatorade? Some of my two-stroke fuel from my weeder deeder outside. So we're going to give her a little bit. Just took a drill bit and popped a hole right in the top. That's probably enough. Hopefully it's enough. You know what? If it's not, I got the rest of it there. Oh, listen at her purr. That's impressive, really. Huh, whatever, that's sticky. Choke wasn't even open before. I don't even know what I was thinking. This car's always ran good. So I connected this vacuum line. Obviously, it probably needed that to run worth of shit anyhow. Sounds like I may be redoing those flex pipes. I knew that was a waste of freaking time to do that. It was just way easier. Yeah, we got a lot of oil being burnt. Oh, that was brake fluid that went on the manifold. So, brakes are Nice and soft. Obviously, they're not bled, but feels like a brake pedal should feel, honestly. I like it. This is exactly why I did this too. I mean, it's not like a giant deal. Well, there's two of them. It's not like a giant deal if it was screwed, you know, in that Adel clamp, but this is probably not the best place for that to leak either. So I'm gonna go ahead and put down the camera. I'm just being brutally honest with everybody watching this, that apparently I suck at tightening these fittings. I know I tighten them, but maybe these flares are screwed. Alright, so we're going to throw a really good old hard to reach nut on the stud back in here. So this is a trick I learned. You guys probably already know this. I'm probably not teaching anybody anything. But yeah, just duct tape that U-joint so it's not quite so floppy, so you can stick it down in there and then not duct tape, but electrical tape that so it doesn't fall out of the socket. But that's where we're going, way down in there. Can't reach it from the bottom because the shift linkage and the exhaust and just, you know, it's one of those things you can see, like it's easy to see, and then it's like impossible to reach. So we're gonna stick the camera right here so you guys can watch all this go on. I did have this put in there a different time. I'm watching the camera to do this because now my phone's in my way. It kind of makes it slightly harder. Did we get it? And another problem that I got is I need some deep well sockets, and I do not have any in this size. All right, we're getting the camera out of the way. It's not helping. We'll come back when this is on. All right, got the selfie stick finally. All right, the old T-Bird is running. Well, obviously it's running. I got the brakes done. I was about to test drive this rig, but we've run into a couple issues. I got my trailer tires on here off my lawn trailer over there because they're 5 by 4.5, and the original white wall wheels don't fit anymore because the hub is bigger on these disc brakes. So, a couple things. I had to take out 4 different spark plugs and clean them. You know, this thing was sitting forever, and it just was like, hey, let's foul 4 fucking plugs. So, had to clean out 4 different plugs. It seems to be running on 8 cylinders now. I had to fill it up with transmission fluid because that leaks really good. And the rear end was making some kind of weird noise too. Hopefully nothing's screwed up back there. I did notice that the pedal, it doesn't have like a spring retract. So when you press the pedal, it just stays down, which that's gonna be a problem. Because I tried to spin these front wheels and they wouldn't like come undone. They were sticking. So I was like, well, it must be dragging. I was hoping it was dragging, not something else more ridiculous. But anyway, I pulled the brake pedal back up. I had to get a spring in there somewhere so that way it does what it's supposed to do. But yeah. Yeah, whenever this thing, when I first started it earlier, it coughed out of the carburetor and started a fire. And I kept trying to start it, obviously, to suck it in, but that scared me a little bit. I didn't know if the battery was going to run out of juice or not. Yeah, look at that, man. That one's spinning a little bit now, so I guess the rear end's not messed up. Alright, I believe it's about time to get her off the jack stands. And driver, I just pulled this brake back up with my foot. I have to get a spring on there for sure. Once all this gets done, Oh, this is probably gonna be terrible quality. Check this out. But anyway, yeah, I gotta put all this back together. I gotta do the Bluetooth radio thing. It's basically looks just like that, but it's Bluetooth. One of them newfangled majigs. So that is the next project. Once I get all these screws and nuts and springs and trim and stuff put back together. So we're gonna lower this girl and we're gonna go drive her and see how it works out. All right, so it's like 8:30 or 8:40 at night now. I'm gonna be at work in freaking less than 2 hours. Got apparently 2 different size trailer tires on this thing because it does not sit level. I think it looks kind of cool with these black wheels on there, to be honest. So we're about to go drive this rig and hopefully not be disappointed. Oh, we got a couple unnatural sounds. I believe that's the power steering pump. This thing leaks power steering fluid real bad. Sounds like a whale call down in there. I did put fluid in the transmission. Uh-oh, we just found neutral. Maybe we need more fluid in the transmission. This thing also needs a vacuum modulator, so that'll be something I gotta dig with. My buddy lives right down the road, so we're gonna just go to his house, test the brakes. Yeah, they work. They're not quite as good as I expected, but don't even look like my buddy's here. Well, we're gonna turn around in this driveway. Actually, we're gonna keep going. Alright, we got pretty decent brakes, I guess. I mean, still don't seem like a modern car's brakes, but they are certainly better than they were. I was honestly hoping, since this car's got pizza cutter wheels on it, that it would be able to lock them up. Oh, there's neutral again. There's a deer. We're only going like 53 miles an hour. Feels sketchy as shit in this car. Well, the brakes are nice and even. They don't jerk to one side or the other. That certainly makes me happy, because even my truck does that. For something with untested brakes, I am really ripping on this car a lot. But that 4-barrel sounds pretty cool. Oh, shit. I gotta pull the pedal back up. I'm gonna have to get a spring on that. There ain't a whole lot. This car is not as roomy as you would think a full-size Ford is. I don't even know if this is considered a full-size Ford, because obviously this kit came for a Galaxy and other full-size Fords, but it did not fit this car, not even close. So I had to fabricate the heck out of the mount. hear it squirting out of the power steering fluid. No wonder the belt freaking slips. Oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this car. I'm getting tired of fixing the knick-knack crap. Like, it's just one thing after another, it seems like. Anyway, that is a separate project. Who cares? This, it works as it should. I'm gonna have to get a spring put on there. There's a little rubber boot. So once I disassemble all this, the rubber boot goes back on, covers it up, nice and pretty, yada yada. I'll either put a spring in there somewhere, or it'll be on the inside under the dash, either pushing or pulling. Probably a pull type spring, pulling the pedal back towards where you're pushing it from. But yeah, it looks decent with these black wheels. Way lower in this front corner up here than the other side. I guess those wheels, I measured it. This one's like 25 or 26 inches. This one's like 26 and a half or 27 inches. So it's only an inch, but it looks pretty dramatic. Yeah. All right, brakes are finally done. They're all put back together. Got these lines ran fairly neatly. This go to the vacuum canister up under the fender. I just filled the power steering pump back up and fixed the leak with it. Fixed this vacuum leak there because that was an issue earlier. Well, anyway, I took the exhaust off of it because I'm going to do away with this crappy flex pipe crap that I did the first time, and I'm going to do it right this time. So, just for the fun of it, we're going to fire it up with open manifolds because V8. All right. Well, didn't want to stay idling. This car about caught on fire under the air cleaner the other day. Really hope it doesn't do that.